Welcome to the International STEAM Programs for Youth in the Time of Closed Borders.
Hello everyone who is watching the live streaming now or who will watch it later in YouTube and Facebook. My name is Ksenia Salnikova and I will moderate this event today. So, dear colleagues, teachers, educators, STEAM events organizers, I am really very glad to welcome you to the MILSET VOSTOK Roundtable, International STEAM Programs for Youth in the Time of Closed Borders. Our roundtable is organized by MILSET VOSTOK, one of the 6 regional departments of MILSET, by All Russian Movement of Creative Teachers Researcher, and by Lomonosov Moscow State University Gymnasium. It is organized as a part of 11th International Scientific and Practical Conference, a research activity of students in modern educational space. I would like to thank you all those institutions, and also I would like to thank the MILSET office team for their overall support in organizing this live streaming. So now I'm pleased to invite MILSET President Mr. Roberto Hidalgo to welcome the participants and the audience of our roundtable.
Thank you very much. It is a great honor to be with all of you today. Thank you very much, Ksenia, and all the Russia MILSET team. We are very proud of you for organizing this event. So it is very important because, as Ksenia already said, MILSET is divided into 6 regions: Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, Latin America, but also we have MILSET Vostok. Vostok does mean East in Russian. And this region is very active and very important for MILSET. They have organized fantastic events in Russia and the other countries Russian speaking. So we are very proud to receive everybody. We have excellent friends and very professional speakers during today and tomorrow. And I hope you really enjoy this activity. Is it designed for you? So welcome everybody. Spasiba bolshoi.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Thank you for the inspiring words. And now let me invite MILSET Vostok Regional President, Mr. Alexander Leontovich, to welcome you and officially open the round table.
So, my dear friends, I'm very happy to see you today because today we have a wonderful event when we can meet each other and see each other. Today it's roundtable discussion, International STEAM Program for Youth in the Time of Closed Borders. Unfortunately, last year we have isolated from each other and have only possibility to communicate with computer. And so MILSET Vostok, and thank you, Ksenia, for this wonderful idea. MILSET Vostok, in the conference or international conference of research activity of students, organize this roundtable discussion. And I think that it is very perspective for communication, for exchange of experience of online communication for MILSET projects. Thank you very much for thank you very much, Liz and Bere and Jose Alberta and all MILSET partners for this for such wonderful possibility to organize this event for MILSET. I think that main aim of this roundtable to exchange of our experience in the practice of organizing of online events. And I believe that such event could be regular. Such event will be regular, maybe in unexpected forms, and I think that each of our regional committees, all of our regions of MILSET in the future will organize such events, and I expect to be invited for such events. So it's wonderful to meet, and I wish you and share a productive work of in today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander. So let's proceed. And before announcing the first presentation, I would like to make a small introduction into the topic and to set a framework of our discussion. So, as you probably remember, almost a year ago, the whole world found itself in completely new reality. The pandemic and the quarantine measures completely changed our lifestyle. Changes were in all the areas, but especially we felt it in our work, in the work that we do. I mean, the organizing of team events and programs for youth. And we all were confused, and we really didn't know how to proceed with our activities. How could we organize them in these new conditions of isolation and closed borders? Perhaps at first we thought that we just need to wait it out and then continue doing it as we had done it before. But then it became evident that those changes will stay with us for a long time. So then we all began to think, how could we continue to how could we continue living our normal everyday life? And how could we continue to organize our events in this new reality? And during the past years, we all came up with some new ideas, new technologies, and new strategies. And here today, we invited speakers from different parts of the world who have organized team international events for youth during the last year. Today and tomorrow, they will share with us, their experience. We will discuss it, analyze this experience, and try to identify some common trends and some unique practices. And probably we will see the way of the further development. So let's start. Just want to say to our audience that if you are watching our live streaming, you're almost all most welcome to write your questions in comments, and I hope our speakers will try to answer them. So let's go. I invite our first speaker, MILSET President and Red Mexico General Coordinator, Mr. Roberto Hidalgo, who will present the experience of organizing the National Expo Sciences 2020 in Mexico.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I want to say hello to my colleagues this morning in Mexico and this afternoon in Russia. Vasily from Yakutia, Dr. Alexander from Russia, Susa from Poland, and my dear friend Hatem from Tunisia. Thank you very much to be with us today. And I will start with the presentation of experience of organizing the National Expo Sciences in Mexico 2020. And I would like to add a word before national. It is now the virtual National Expo Sciences in Mexico. In the middle of the year, we must to change that. So next one, please. We will talk about what is Mexico Expo Sciences. Normally, we have 18 editions from 2003, that it was the first to 2020. We have 42 selective events for the national, 500 finalist science projects already chosen by the 42 selective events, around 2,000 participants, 1,500 schools and universities participating, around 350 jury members, 17 invited countries. We have 11 areas of participation: environmental, biology, and so on. 5 categories that start from the kindergarten, primary school, till university students. And we deliver 100 accreditations to 42 international events. That is what is Expo Sciences in Mexico. So we can see in the next slide how it looks normally, the Mexico Expo Sciences. And in the next slide, we can see some pictures about the opening ceremony or the closing and award ceremony and delegations. The next one slide shows the state of Sonora that was chosen to host the National Expo Sciences in 2020, because each year a different city is elected to host the National Expo Sciences. And the last year was in the northern part of Mexico, the big state of Sonora. Next slide, please. This is the image that we create for promote this new experience. It is in Spanish, but it says it will be the best virtual events of science and technology for youth in the year. So that's our slogan. And in the next, please. Well, COVID arrives to Mexico on March, at the end of March in 2020. And as we host all of activities in the University of Puebla State, and so the university was closed. And we say, okay, maybe this will not continue for too long, so we will take the decision later about how we will make the Expo Sciences in Mexico. Next one, please. But of course, all the situation starts to be very terrible. Not only in Mexico, but in many countries, but especially in Mexico, we have big problems with the pandemic, and we must stay home. And it's very difficult for the kids and for the families and for everybody to travel outside their homes. We can imagine to travel to Sonora State. So in the next one, please. So we have 6 big challenges to organize and to translate all the regular National Expo Sciences, that it is very big, is that the size maybe that like an international Expo Sciences. And we have big challenge to translate all the events into virtual. The first challenge was how to organize 42 selective events that must be done in virtual mode for the first time or being canceled.
Tell me when. Please, we will wait a minute. We have technical issues with the internet. Be patient, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, maybe a failure of internet, but I am back. So I was talking, I go to the next slide when the map of Mexico is showing and all the regional expo sciences that can realize the event and select projects to the big final. Only 3 states that are marked with a cross can't organize a virtual expo science. Only 3 from 32 or from 32. So it was a big effort for everybody to organize that. The next slide shows the second big challenge, that it was a technical new conditions to run the event with regional, national, and international coverage and impact. The next slide shows there is some pictures about how the sets were done in a hotel. We transmit everything from a hotel in the capital city of the state of Sonora in Hermosillo. Next slide, please. You can see another set of television. Slide number 14 is other view of the sets that we have for transmit the event. Next one is the cameras and our conference or speakers were invited to transmit on live from that place. Next one, please. Again, the speakers. This is a paleontologist. Next one, please. And also the big challenge to have everybody connected. 2,000 people connected for the on live streaming. Next one, please. The computers. Next one. Okay, this is the team. You can see Jose Alberto that is now backstage and help us with the transmission of this event. Next one, please. And the third challenge is offering a complete program activities for all participants. So what we want to do is to translate all the event and not forget any event. So next one, please. We have an event for teachers, for the advisors. Next one, we have the Youth Citizens Conferences of ISA MILSET program, of course. Next one, please. We have 17 invited countries that connected and participate with 70 projects. Next one, please. We have speakers. Next one, we have this is very interesting. It's a cultural visit about Sonora. We take the participants to the desert and all the attractives of the city, the surroundings. Next one, we have a cultural night on live streaming. Next one, and we have the medals. The fourth challenge is to create an on-live professional transmission from the host city. See, this is the fourth challenge. So next one, we have some pictures like in this next picture. We create a book. We have it online in our website. Next one, please. We have the book, the medals, and the trophies. Next one, again, I'm announcing officially the book. Next one, this is the book. Next one, you can see the trophies that we deliver to all winner participants. Next one, please. This is the team. We deliver diplomas. This is the next one in the 37th. This is the opening ceremony or invited guests from Guatemala in the next one. Okay, we go finally to the slide number. Please, we go to the slide number 15. So we will talk about the fifth challenge, that it is attract and retain the attention of participants throughout the entire program. And we can see some pictures. I asked to Jose Alberto to put the pictures. There is our participants making and enjoying the Expo Sciences from their homes. And finally, we go to the 60 slide, that it is the sixth challenge, that it is to register, present, and evaluate an award for 500 youth scientific research projects. That, I think, that the best and the best work made by the team. We can see in the next one the website that we create. In the next one, we have the registration process. Next one, we have a guideline on live that they can follow for register and for evaluate. Next one, this is a slide of registration. So I asked to Jose to go through the slides. There are all the databases that was created and the awards ceremony. And I would like to finish with the slide number 73, that it is the final impact. The final impact was that we have 1,022 national participants presenting 445 projects. We have international participants around 180 from 70 countries, 17 projects, and we have 502 jury members. And in the next one we have 4 days on live transmission from the host city, from Hermosillo City. We have 26 scheduled activities during the event with a total reproductions of 47,496, and total user at social networks was so amazing. For us was a really big surprise to host all that users in social networks. So thank you and see you at Mexico Expo Sciences in 21. The host city will be Durango, also in the north of Mexico, and we hope that we can host this event as we know. Otherwise, now we have the experience to make it virtually. So we hope everybody can enjoy and join us to Expo Sciences Mexico this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, dear Roberto. It was really an exciting and very dynamic presentation. And thank you for highlighting for us all the challenges that you faced during the organization and preparation of the National Expo Sciences in Mexico. We have some questions here from the audience. One of the challenges that you mentioned was to retain participants' attention throughout the whole program of your event. Could you tell us, was it possible to measure somehow by site traffic or maybe by number of views or any other way, how much participants were involved in different kind of activities of Expo Sciences? Did they watch video presentations of other participants? Did they participate in a virtual tour, or they just were focused on their own presentations before the committee of experts?
Yes, thank you very much. The first action that we took, is to be shorter with the times, because it's difficult to get the kids with the attention for many time or longer time at a computer. So the program that usually is one complete day, for example, now we reduce in some hours, so we can have the attention of the participants and they will not worry just to sit it in a computer. The second action that we did is to have a very dynamic program with a touristical visit to the host city, and then one international presentation of projects, and then speaker that is talking about the space or the paleontology, and of course the award ceremony. Everybody was very attentive to be at the award ceremony. So that's the main actions that we made to try to make very interactive with our participants.
Thank you very much. One more small question. Our audience they are wondering, how did you organize the virtual tour to Sonora? Was it just a video that participants watched, or you created any kind of virtual space where they could learn something or could move somewhere?
Yes, we have the support of the city office for Congress and visitors, and they are experts to show the city. So what they did, it's a video with 2 kids that are showing the city and the state. It is very interactive, and you can see that video because it is recorder in the YouTube and Facebook social media networks. If you look at Expo Sciences Mexico, Expo Ciencias Mexico to 2020, you will find that video. And it's very nice and very interactive because it's presented by two youngsters, and they show the city, and they go to the desert, and they go to the main points of interest, cultural and scientific, of Hermosillo City.
Oh, thank you very much. For sure, we will go and watch this wonderful tour. So let's move. Let's proceed. And now I'm glad to invite our next speaker, Vice Principal of Moscow State University High School, Professor of Chemistry, Department of Moscow State University, Dr. Alexander Gladilin. So during last years, Alexander organized several national and international events in Russia. And I hope he will be happy to share with us his experience and the lessons that he learned basing on this experience. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Ksenia. Dear friends, it's a really pleasure to see you here today, and I think we are discussing very, very important issues, and I would like to share some lessons we managed to get during 2020, when all the human beings, all the world found themselves in a very difficult and very different situation. And it was really difficult because it was not sure. We never knew how long will it take. Actually, we do not know it yet. But the first shock is gone, and we are now ready to proceed with many different events. Next slide, please. So, I personally was involved in several events. I will just briefly describe these events right now, and then we'll speak in a little more detail about every event. Actually, it is not all events are related to youth science fairs, to research of students. Some of these are Olympiads, other events are science conferences, and so on. But I'm pretty sure that many traits are in common, and we can use some successful approaches and to broaden the fields of the application. So first of all, we needed to do entrance exams to our high school, and then we succeeded, and I will explain how we did it. And then we passed over to International Mendeleev Chemistry Olympiad. Next stop was International Chemistry Olympiad. So these two events were just Olympiads. Then we conducted summer school, which was a kind of second round of entering exams to our high school, but it is much broader than just exams. It's really true summer school. And then we were deeply involved in doing a science conference. It was Polymers 2020 Kargin conference. And finally, we did two other competitions at the end of 2020. It was a competition of chemistry teachers of Moscow City and finals, and another Olympiad, Metropolises Olympiad, typically held in Moscow. So you see that mostly, not all, but mostly all these events relate to chemistry, because basically I am a chemist by education, and part of my current activity as professor of chemistry department. But this is good, because usually at different competitions, chemistry and different events, chemistry is probably most requiring discipline, most requiring subject of science, because of reagents, glassware, labware, and so on. But anyhow, we can draw some general conclusions of it. About entering exams, in the top right hand side, you can see the building of our gymnasium or high school. It was launched in 2016, not long ago. It's still pretty new, and I am happy that Alexander Leontovich, who is the president of MILSET Vostok, is now the director of this gymnasium, and I'm happy to be in his team. We invite students from all over Russia, talented students. This is a full board school. Students live here, and students get all the education and all free time. They spend all their time in the gymnasium. And typically we do 2 rounds of exams. The first one was conducted at different cities of Russia, and Russia is a huge in territory, so we managed somehow to cover the major parts of Russia. Oh, sorry, I didn't ask for the next slide, please. Sorry. It is now slide number 3. Okay, I continue, sorry. Then we pick up the best students from the first round and invite them to the summer school. And then we teach students, we do some lectures and second round of exams. And finally, the top students are selected to start education in the gymnasium. And last year we found ourselves in a situation of a lockdown when we could not visit different cities of Russia. We could not go to and conduct on-site exams. And we said, okay, but we still need new students. Education must go on, show must go on. So first of all, we investigated all the solutions available at the market, and from the very beginning we decided to retain the existing format of the exams as much as possible. And these are, let us say, written exams where students have to solve problems, to create presentations, and so on and so on. So I mean these online tests, which are most easily accessible, but it is not these tests we trust cannot give the whole picture. We decided that we need a very, very strict proctoring, and we need a learning management system with integrated video conferencing. We did a lot of testing, including crash tests, because we needed to be absolutely sure it will work. And we understood that by contrast to some on-site exams, this remote or online exam will require much more staff at the time, because we need many proctors, and actually one proctor cannot follow more than 6 to 8 students. So if we have, let us say, 200 students per day, you can imagine how many proctors we need. And also we understood that when we use internet, anything may happen. Like anything may happen today to our internet connection. But today, during the roundtable, it is not so crucial, because we can wait and we can change the order of presentations and so on. But when you do enter an exam and the students already see the tasks, it is not possible to change it. Probably we can cancel the exam and announce another day, but which is not good at all. So it's always better to have plan B. Finally, we decided to use Canvas LMS and with integrated big blue button for video conferencing. Next slide, please. So we succeeded with the first round of exams, and we applied nearly the same technology to the 54th International Mendeleev Chemistry Olympiad. Once upon a time, it used to be the all Soviet Union finals in chemistry. Not only in chemistry, all subjects had similar competitions. But only chemistry managed to retain it when the Soviet Union was split into newly independent states. And now many countries join this competition, and all 15 former Soviet Union republics take part in this competition. But typically we have now more than 25 up to 30 countries, and now it's a regional Olympiad. So we decided we do it. It was done remotely for the first time, and we managed to do two theoretical examinations. And we decided to cancel practical examination. We had 130 students and 20 countries. The year before, when we had it on site, it was in St. Petersburg in Russia, we had 150 students and 28 countries. So you can see that roughly 2/3 of the students and countries, up to students, many students participated, but up to countries, it was roughly 2/3. And we did proctoring similar to what we had at the gymnasium, entering exams. Once again, we did it with Canvas and integrated big blue button. And I would say that International Olympiad even requires more responsibility than entering exams, because there is absolutely no second attempt. And the importance of Plan B at International Olympiads is absolutely crucially important. And we understood that it is useful to have a parallel way of communication. We choose WhatsApp like we do it right today. And another important lesson was not to overload stream and only ask for inevitably needed ways of communication, like one camera and demonstration of the screen. And besides some positive lessons, we got another lesson which was let us say a bit negative, because social and scientific programs were missing, and these are very important. It is decided now that next year Olympiad will be held also online, and now we are in discussion with some Nobel Prize winners, and we will ask them to deliver lectures to the students, and we are pretty sure that it will be really for good, and will make the Olympiad more attractive from the scientific and social part. Next slide, please. International Chemistry Olympiad is even a bigger event. Typically, 80 countries take part in it. And last year, we had 60 countries and more than 230 students. And once again, we skipped the practical examination. We canceled it. And we used some different procedure. We had no proctoring, and instead in every country there was an invigilator who helped the students. He was not involved in translation of the tasks. He was not involved in the international jury. He worked only with students, and also he provided live video recording, streaming using Zoom. And sometimes now we can say that this lockdown helped us to make some further steps to the better organization. We've been discussing for years that we need to use some special software for our International Chemistry Olympiad. What we did not change it. And last year we were forced to do it. And we applied only exam software, and I'm pretty sure we will use it in future. Once again, we used the parallel way of communication was Telegram, and once again, social and scientific programs were missing. And I didn't say this Olympiad was organized by our friends from Turkey, and they didn't have a lot of time. So they provided for competition, but they had no chance to do the opening ceremony and something else. And next Olympiad will be in Japan. It is not decided yet whether it will be on-site or remote. And if remote, our Japanese friend will prepare some innovative things like personal avatars for closing ceremony. Also, they are planning a lot of VR tools to different labs and plants. Next slide, please, slide number 6. Summer school was done in a very perfect way, and we made lectures, teaching, everything was done, covered excellently, because we already got quite a lot of experience. So pretty sure that this format, online format, can be used for summer schools. Next slide, please. The conference for polymers was a typical science conference with some plenary lectures, working sections, and poster sessions. And once again we used Canvas with big blue button, and it was important that we could have a poster session. So every person could have dozens of conferences which are equal to rooms in Zoom. But in Zoom you can be present only in one room. And in Canvas Big Blue Button, you can be present in all dozens of these rooms at a time. And then you can easily go through and visit, ask questions, and communicate. So everybody agreed that this science conference was done at a very high level. Just 2 next slides will show you how it looked like, how it was. Slide number 8. And slide number 9, you will see a typical poster. So everything was absolutely clear and similar to scientific conferences, which can be easily used, this technology, for fairs, for youth science fairs. And 2 final events I was involved in organization of which these were competitions of Metropolis Olympiad and chemistry teachers of Moscow region. Everything was done in a high level, and what is interesting, we managed to do even practical examination at both of these events. We announced the list of equipment and reagents. Beforehand, it contained excessive number of positions of items, and the participants had to prepare it in their schools or other locations. And on the day of exam, they got the papers, and they conducted the exam, and also did a video recording. And now I'm pretty sure that the whole event, any competition, even competition using some special reagents or hardware, this can be done remotely. Slide number 12, please. So some final conclusions. I would say that we all miss on-site events, mostly because of socializing. But a lot can be done remotely, and sometimes even for better. And to do so, we need a lot of creativity, which is good. It is important to choose the right platform, LMS and video conferencing. And it is always important to have plan B, and to do a lot of training. And we should not forget about social and scientific parts. And using online technologies, we can do quite a lot. And I'm pretty sure that in future on-site events, which we are dreaming of, will use a lot of remote technologies, which we first trained in 2020. Next slide, please. This is the final slide. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will be happy to answer questions if I still have time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alexander, for a very informative presentation. Thank you for analyzing your experience and not only presenting what you have done. So I would like to say also that many people around the world now are watching us from many countries, especially from Russia, Mexico, and Chile. We receive many greetings and congratulations. Thank you very much. And we have a question for you, Alexander.
Yes.
As we understand, there was no social activities. There was a lack of networking activities in the events that you presented. Why, from your point of view, wasn't it possible to organize them? Do you see any possible solutions here?
Thank you very much for the question. That's true. We did only competitions, or let us say factual part of the events. And this happened because no one was prepared, no one knew how to do it. And we were concentrated on organizing competitions, on choosing medalists, winners, and so on and so on. And simply we didn't have time to prepare social events. But we all understand, well, we do a lot of discussion afterwards, and we are preparing for 2021 events. And we all understand that social events are absolutely important. I would say equally important as part. And we have a lot of interesting ideas how to do it. I tried to mention some ideas from Japanese hosts of the next International Chemistry Olympiad. They will collect pictures of all students. They will have a special software to transform these pictures into avatars. And during the closing ceremony, if it is online, they will use not only some images, but these will be avatars of actual winners of the medals. And I think, well, we will see many, many new inventions in this field.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for so detailed answer. I would like to tell that also people from Turkey, Argentina, Kuwait, and Tunisia are watching us now and send their greetings, and also Canada and Morocco. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching us. So now I'm glad to invite our next speaker, Miss Zuzanna Zaiko, the event coordinator in High Tech Foundation, Poland. Zuzanna will share with us their experience, the challenges that they faced last year when they moved to online their biggest national youth science event in Poland. So please, Zuzanna.
Hello. Hello, welcome from Poland. Thank you very much, all of you, for this invitation. I'm really pleased and honored to be with all of you and all the other countries and people who are watching us currently. As Ksenia, you already said, and it's all correct, my name is Zuzanna Zaiko and I represent High Tech Foundation from Poland. At High Tech Foundation, I work as an event coordinator. As we all know and we already agreed, 2020 was extremely hard for all of us event coordinators. That's why we as well are meeting today to discuss it. And I would like to share with you our Polish experience and my experience. I would like to share with you our experience and show you the path which we went through. Next slide, please. Let me remind you at the beginning, Explorer program. Few words about Explorer, what is this and what are our aims? At the beginning, Explorer program is a unique initiative promoting science and innovation, as well as supporting young talents and innovators. It consists of three main elements. First is Explorer Science Contest. That's the biggest national scientific event for students aged 13-20. Second element, these are regional Explorer Science Fairs, a number of scientific workshops and shows for young people all around Poland. And third, the biggest one is Gdynia Explorer Week. It's a few-day festival of science and innovation with the national finals of Explorer Science Contest. And the Explorer Science and Technology Festival has a range of workshops and scientific shows for the youth. These elements we are organizing all around Poland. We are having partners in many Polish cities. So it was very important for us to be able to keep organizing our activities. And what was very important for us was to keep all our partners, to encourage them to stay with us. Next slide, please. When the year of pandemic started, we knew that we had to redefine our core activities. We had to set the new aims and adapt them to new reality. For us, for our organization, that was the only chance to survive. And that's how in March 2020, we have opened a new chapter, an online chapter for Explorer. We tried to think about this new situation according to our new motto, new reality, new possibilities, new challenge. That's how we treated it, and that's how we decided to treat it, to be able to face this issue, not to worry too much, not to close ourselves for new opportunities, but to try to treat it like a new chapter, an online chapter. What's our biggest success? Our biggest success is that we managed to encourage all our partners to stay with us, because losing partners, losing sponsors was the biggest risk. That was something we were the most afraid of. And what I can tell you now is that we managed to do it. We managed to encourage all our partners that we will still be able, even in online version, to promote science, to promote innovation, to promote technology, and we will be able to gather all young people from Poland around these subjects. They believed us and they stayed with us for the whole 2020 year, and they are still with us, and we are now working still online, but thinking in future on the hybrid version of our initiative. Next slide, please. First of all, we knew that we have to choose a platform for online events. That was somehow the most important for us, because we have huge expectations, and we knew that that's very important, because platform will be our connection with society, will be the pipe through which we will send our innovations, our passion, and it will be like a connection with all. It will be a pipe that will connect all young scientists around Poland. So that was a crucial issue for us at the beginning. As you probably know, there's a lot of online platforms to choose, and we choose Hop-in. I don't know whether you know it, whether you have heard about this platform, but we chose it because it met all our expectations. What we needed was a stage to present lectures and open speeches. We always need a session room with limited amount of participants, of guests. And we need as well an expo area where we can place our online materials and where we can present our partners. For them, it's always very important to be able to show up, to show what they are doing, and to be able to present somehow during our events. And thanks to Hop-in, we managed to do it all. We didn't have to quit any of our elements. Next slide, please. The second tool which we used was YouTube. We all know YouTube. We are using it every day. But why we use it for Explorer events? YouTube makes our events everlasting. All elements of our events were recorded, and we decided to place them on YouTube. And thanks to this platform, people still watch them. People still watch our materials. The numbers of views are increasing every day. And I have an impression that thanks to this online version of our events, and thanks to playlists that we have created on YouTube, our event is somehow still alive. We have organized them in the autumn, but they are still open for people, and they are still somehow alive in internet. That's a huge benefit of online events, which we found. Next slide, please. Website, called as well our landing page. That was somehow a center for all our events. What we presented there an info about upcoming events, festival and congresses. So all people connected with Explorer, gathered in Explorer society, thanks to this website, were very well informed about upcoming events, about the dates and timings of the events. So they were always with us, and we provided correct information. direct link to registration system. So through this landing page, all people interested in our events were able to register themselves directly in Hopin. So they didn't have to make few steps. They could only enter a landing page, and directly from this landing page, they could enter Hopin, which was very interesting. It was very important to make this path as easy as possible. On this landing page, we have placed as well video cards recorded by participants of Explorer contests. So all of people could see the projects of young scientists participating in our contest. That was for them as well very important to know the projects, to know young scientists, and to be somehow familiar with them. Next slide, please. And Explorer contest, our young scientists, they had a chance to present their projects in their separated online rooms. The rooms were open for jury as well for some external guests. So they were in their separated rooms, but they were not alone there, because there were a lot of people visiting them during the day. So they were keep talking about their projects, and they had a feeling that there is a lot of that somehow that they are alone, but not exactly, because there is a lot of people somehow with them asking about the projects, being interested in their projects. So that was very important for them. Next slide, please. We managed to, as you already know, we managed to transfer all our events to the internet, but we did even more. We decided to add to our Explorer program new elements. I myself ran conversations on Facebook with people working in the field of education. Now, it was very important for us because at the beginning, in March 2020, we needed to quit our upcoming events because we planned to have them in March, April, and May 2020, and then the pandemic started, and we needed to stop preparations. And the beginning looked like this: that we had no idea about what's going to happen, how long the lockdown will last. So we were not able to plan everything correctly, because we knew that everything is so flexible now, and that everything can change every day. So for us, it was very important to stay in touch with our speakers and with our audience. And these Facebook conversations and podcasts that we managed to record was kind of, for us, it was kind of connection with our Explorer society. And it worked really well, because these conversations we recorded with our speakers, people who were supposed to be with us during these spring events, and they were with us somehow, but during these short Facebook conversations, these every Tuesday meetings. And thanks to these elements, we managed to survive till the autumn, when we already knew what we are going to do, and when we were already able to organize a real event online. We had enough time to be prepared, to know how it will work, and to implement it. And all these Facebook conversations called Explorer Online and our podcasts, we placed them on YouTube, and we placed them as well on Spotify. So they were recorded many months ago, but they are still alive, and many people keeps watching them and can still hear them and see what happened at Explorer during lockdown period. And the last slide, with my thank you and my contact details. Thank you very much for giving me a space to share with you this Polish experience from pandemic year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Susanna. I'm really impressed by all these things that you managed to realize on your event, on digital platform and social network and so on. I also would like to say that now people all around the world are watching us people from Belgium, France, United Arab Emirates, Canada, Ecuador, Peru, South Africa, Namibia, Taiwan, and Egypt are watching us. So congratulations. And I would like to say to our audience, please, you are welcome to write your questions to our speakers in comments, and they will be very glad to answer them. So I have a question for you, Zuzana. You mentioned, if I understood you right, you mentioned that you managed to realize the online meetings, the online conversation of students who presented the project with the visitors. Please, could you tell us in more details how it was done technically? Did you use any filters for visitors, or any visitor could enter and participate in these meetings?
It was open for everyone willing to participate, but to be able to visit a young scientist, you had to get through the registration process. So first, what you needed to do was to visit our landing page, to enter, to click the button register, and then you were transferred to Hop-in platform, the platform where we placed all our events when we were present, and then you were transported to Hop-in, and you could use all our all options or our agenda possible. So you could listen to speeches and presentations, and you could as well visit rooms with young scientists where you had a chance to talk and to ask some questions.
Thank you very much, Zuzana, for your answer and your presentation. I know that you have to leave now.
Yes, unfortunately.
So thank you for your contribution. Really appreciate it. And now I'm glad to invite our next speaker, Mr. Hatem Sliman, President of Tunisian Association for Future of Sciences and Technology, ATAST, and MILSET Africa General Secretary. Hatem will tell us how his team managed to adapt STEAM programs in Tunisia to the new digital reality. So please, Hatem,
hello. Hi. Hello, everybody. So thank you so much for this invitation. And I'm so glad to join this great roundtable about how to solve and how to find the solution about this pandemic. So actually, I want to start my presentation with present myself. So I'm from Tunisia, as you said. It's in the top of Africa, as you know. So I'm a member of different international organizations. So as ATAST, MILSET Africa, BRISEC, and actually I'm the General Director of IFEST, which is the International Festival of Engineering, Science and Technology in Tunisia. So we will talk here about 5 different points. So the first one, I'm gonna start with introduction. Next slide, please. So we are here on the slide of introduction. We'll introduce the STEAM vs COVID, and then the second part will be how we make adaptation, and we'll share about our experience and how we learned about from COVID, because COVID actually is like a lesson for all of us. And finally, we'll finish with tomorrow vision. On the slide of introduction, so please, can we go to the slide number 6, please? Okay. So actually, we are on the slide number 6. So we can see here that the STEM or STEAM activities are very specific. So everybody is close one to other, and we have like round tables, we have like special spaces here. So it's quite impossible if to manage in the normal way with COVID. So everything is locked down, and we are asked to keep our homes, and we have to respect these decisions. But we have to move to the next slide. The presentation here will show the STEAM must go on, and as we said, the show must go on. But I will get the title of the STEAM must go on. How can we make adaptation? Next slide, please. So different companies make an adaptation, even for sports. They choose to make training, online training, delivery, online shops, even doctors are online. So we have to find a solution as innovators, as teacher innovators, to adapt even STEAM or STEM with these special conditions. Next slide. A lot of very famous companies of education, like not only companies, platform, they developed their or they did adaptation of their courses, online courses, to be available for everybody. So it was like who will be the nearest one to the audience. So here we saw a lot of courses, a lot of high-level courses. They did also adaptation for that. Next slide. Next slide. So with everybody here in education institution, they select one or two or all of these software like Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, even Facebook was adapted to be a platform for education online. So is it okay? Tell no. So we find solution to communicate with students, but is it enough? Is it fair? Is it equal? So next slide, please. Here we are. As classroom, all these softwares can offer us the opportunity to meet our students, but STEM is really different to just meet students. And there is something very important is we should be careful about equality and efficiency. I'm sorry, there was some mistake here. So equality and efficiency is the most important thing that we have to reach. If everybody, we have to ask if everybody have access to this technology, to internet, to share knowledge and to get knowledge. Next step, next slide, please. So we account all these stress and all this condition, we decided to run our experience. We started first of all with an important event, which is Tunisian Tech Hack, which is a hackathon, online hackathon in against COVID. So it was like 3 days non-stop. 72 hours non-stop. Next slide. So we had a lot of partners like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Technology, Education, and High Education. So everybody was very, very glad with this first experience on the national level. So we get a lot of teams on the national level, and we coach them, we teach them how to use this software and how to present their work, and they were really coached well according to their subject. And we gives a lot of valuable prizes. It was like I think almost $5,000. So as first prizes. So here we learned as organizer from this experience before going forward to iFest. So we learned how to manage some unexpected problem, technical problem, if internet cuts, if someone doesn't have the same chance to as others about training or coaching. Next slide. And then we moved to the famous iFest. So we prepared really a very, very big version. So expected to do it physically with new logo and with valuable partners, but COVID said, no, you cannot do it physically. You have to work in order to make it virtual. And then we decided, we were the last organizer who decided that we should move to the virtual cause. Here we have really time was very, very close. So pandemic starts on the month on February, and iFest was in March. So here we moved forward to the virtual edition, but we decided to do it like specific and special version, even it is virtual. Next slide. And as you see here, the schedule and the different parts. So we had like big problem how to join people with time -8 and +8 in the same time. And we tried to have a big staff in order to arrange it correctly. And everybody who is doing his presentation should find a whole team, and it was different teams. And we can see here a lot of activities, STEM Congress and special Meet the Scientists conference and virtual tour, and everything was really done in very limited time. As you see here, so it was a big organization coming from different countries. Next slide. Let's move now to the slide number 17. As you see here, some statistics. So, excuse me. Good. So, as you see here, some statistics. A huge number of projects, 450 projects, and more than 1,000 participants, 40 countries, and I think it's not a big number of judges, but what was enough to be fair for everybody, having 2 or 3 judges, different judges. And always we had like 50 different connected staff during 96 hours. And for the STEM Congress, it was also something very interesting, calling different teachers to share their experience. And we arranged like parallel venue, because in that time, COVID was not very, very strong there. The situation was almost okay. So everything was in Tunisia in that period. So we had the opportunity to arrange a parallel venue in order to make it virtual and physical for some invited students. And moving to a very important conference coming in partnership with NASA, so was presented by the Tunisian doctor Nour Wafi about the sun. So he presented how we can get closer to the sun. It was very, very, very important and very valuable presentation. And we had full room with audience and a lot of questions. And then to conclude the iFest, we should finish with awards, with medals. So we we choose to send all medals to home, straight to home to all participants who requested that. And it was really a long process and not easy at all to send packs, almost like 200 packs, like to different countries around the world during this period. Actually, so moving to the slide number 20 right now. This is the website, and we did for this year a small, we changed small things there in order to make it like a platform, not only for registration or for following the news. So going to the slide number 21. And here is a preview about the platform. So as students or supervisor, anyone can create his own space and manage it and work on it, and it could be improved by the supervisor, and we do it for making a strong relationship with our event in order it goes with this special situation of COVID. Next slide, slide number 22. So how are, if people, we are asking question here, if people learned something from COVID? In my opinion, yes, we learned a lot, how to be collaborative and how to have a social vision as scientist and educator. So let's move to the slide number 23. So we shared here some photos coming after our good and great job of students. So we goes for manufacturing some stuffs to help people getting easy breath, and to help staff, medical staff, and to do some work with 3D printers. And we did a lot of things here. And here we learned that science is important. Everything that we are doing is valuable, but science is the base thing that offer us the perspective of tomorrow. So for that reason, all students were working from their home to develop different solution, and the most important things that this solution were used by professionals in hospitals and in different area. Move to next step, slide please. Even online courses, so they goes to free version. These same platforms, they are not selling anymore their courses, they are giving it for free. And this is the social part in order to give positive vibes for everybody staying home. Let's move to the next step, slide. So actually, we are going to slide number 25. Is tomorrow vision, right? So what is the tomorrow of, what is our vision in tomorrow? So we have to think to arrange all our events physically, but we have to think about a big and a very serious and interactive version for next events. So we choose to arrange it like in next slide shows here, like interactive platform. And I saw what says Mr. Roberto. So it was really something great in Mexican version. So we are thinking to do and to organize iFest next year in that scale and in that way, if the pandemic still, and I think for this year, yes, we'll keep it virtual. So moving to the next step, slide. the lobby will be like this. Moving to the next slide, and the booth will be something similar to that one. So we started already working to prepare a very big virtual version, because we learned it really from 2020 version. So going to the next slide, the last one. So in my opinion, COVID can't stop knowledge, and nothing can stop knowledge. Just we have to adapt ourselves to the new situation. Thank you so much for being attentive and for this invitation. And if there is any question, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Hatem. Thank you. Your presentation was really very bright and interactive. Thank you for sharing with us all the efforts that you did to adapt your STEAM events to online format, and for all your to show us all your efforts to make these events accessible for Tunisian students. As far as we understand, that students in Tunisia were really involved in your activities and participating in your programs, even in online format. And what do you think? Have you noticed any loss of interest because of online format? And if yes, if so, how did you deal with this?
Yeah, excellent question. So for sure that we cannot keep everybody interested by this work, but we tried to change different activities in order to ensure that everybody still involved. For example, a lot of people comes to the fair in order to participate in the international level. So we keep that with different way in virtual. Some others are coming just to learn. So we give them the opportunity to practice new things from home and to discover themselves, because they have a lot of time to discover their new skills. And for future leaders, there is some students, they are like the future leaders. The leadership is really something going normally with them. So they lead, they are the leader of tomorrow, so they decide to act and to go with a special authorization from the authority here in order to be involved and to help medical staff to produce things and to fix some things.
Thank you, Hatem. Thank you for your answer. I'm glad to say that more and more countries around the world join us. And people in Algeria, Azerbaijan, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Colombia, Guatemala, Kazakhstan, and Luxembourg are watching us, and we receive many messages, many greetings from representatives of MILSET member organization around the world. Thank you very much, dear friend. Thank you for your support. Hatem not only shared with us his experience, last experience, but also his plans for the future. And now, I'm glad to invite our next speaker, Dr. Vasily Pavlov, principal of the Saha Junior Science Academy. It is a regional educational center in Yakutia, the largest region of Russia, located in the northeast part of Siberia. And Vasily will also talk to us about plans for the future. He will tell us about the concept of International Science Games 2022, the view from today's reality. So, Vasily, please, your turn.
Okay, Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, again, greetings to you all. I would like to give you a little intro into the International Science Games. As I said, I'm a representative of the Russian Far East, namely Eastern Siberia, or more precisely, a vast region called Yakutia. It is of the size of the Indian subcontinent and lies in the same time zone as Tokyo, 9 hours ahead of the Greenwich Mean Time. Currently, I'm calling you from Yakutsk, the regional capital, and located only 200 miles shy of the polar circle. Currently, it is rather cold, minus 50 centigrade, which is much better than minus 60, which was the for the last 2 months, the sort of average temperature. Luckily, the summer is quite warm, especially the months of July. In the year 2018, in the second week of July, the Sakha Junior Science Academy, working under the auspices of the Ministry of Education and Science of Yakutia, have organized the International Science Games, the first of its name. A week-long event was a resounding success that brought together more than 1,000 kids and experts from 40 countries. The idea behind the games was to bring together communities of young researchers of the schools strong in science in a science festival with a convergence of competitive and non-competitive events. Boosted by its results, the government of Yakutia has decided to hold the second edition of the International Science Games in Yakutsk in 2022, subject to the current pandemic ramifications. On the slide number 2, you will see the ad hoc working group comprised of the distinguished gentleman and the lady. One of the leading lights of the working group is our well and truly the president of MILSET VOSTOK, Dr. Alexander Leontovich. The next slide, please. The slide number 3 says about the game's background, which will be held during the and as a part and parcel of the Yakutia Republic's centenary celebration to embody positive changes that took place, such as the advances in new industries like IT and creative industries. The next slide, please. The slide number 4. It introduces the wishes of the Yakutian government that the games should have a relevance in bridging the skills required in this fast-changing world and potential professional openings to foster the development of young people with abilities to think critically and creatively, to work in a multicultural working setup. The next slide, please. The slide number 5. This slide tells about the game's proposed mission, which is to shape the future of our world by research and positive engagement with peers. The next slide, please. Slide number 6 brings us to another aspect of the games, to transform the games from its local roots into something global, akin to the International Olympic Games, albeit in the science dimension. The next slide, please, the slide number 7. Since we are living in the age of global changes, technology-wise, communal health-wise, it is deemed to be highly appropriate to carry out the all international events of the games in the virtual mode as possible, with the proviso that the offline participation will be possible, the health situation permitting. The next slide, please, the slide number 8. As the main vehicle for the virtual mode, will be an enhanced site of the Sakha Junior Science Academy that will accommodate special features such as different online research venues where the participants can engage in real research activities supported by point accumulation scheme. The site will be an information hub with the participants only access and private research rooms features are also available. The next slide, please, slide number 9. That deals with the underlying fundamental approach in designing the International Science Games 2022 as an which is based in the ecosystemic approach that permits a variety of work formats, interdisciplinary content, and individual participation paths selection to give freedom for engagement as a key motivation factor for any potential participant. Can we move to the next slide, please? Slide number 10, which tells us the most sacred and important issue of the openness of the games to every student who wants to take part, helped by the existence of different entry options and the absence of the selection process for the non-competitive events. The next slide, please, the slide number 11. It shows in graphic terms of the virtual game strong suits, such as different entry options, as it was said before, to the non-competitive events, and the credit or the point system that allows the accumulation of points to enhance one's participation opportunities in the event of the final stages of the games. The next slide, please, the slide number 12. That shows the progressions of the International Science Games stages, reaching its crescendo at the Games finale in Yakutsk in July 2022. The next slide is the slide number 13. The final slide, which is required the further fine-tuning with your kind input. So the basic idea is to set up international project teams that will be working online to solve or develop a concept of solving a global issue problem related, for example, to climate change, pollution, pandemic response, or other burning issues of the modern times, and eventually representing it before or presenting it before an international forum or distinguished panel of experts at an International Science Games finals. Your ideas and suggestions are very much welcomed. And I would like to say that in the final slide, which is the slide on awards, which is has a hunch of proposing first engagements to the winning teams of individuals, such as the participation into some deeper level programs offered by our academic partners. In short, everything is to engage. Everything that we want to do in that project is to engage in a meaningful way and bring together young people united in a common desire to define the world around by scientific method. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Vasily, for the fascinating presentations. Your plans look really fantastic, and we wish you luck with your events, with this great virtual game that you plan to organize in 2 years. The question is, could you tell us if you what digital platform do you plan to use for the International Science Games? Will it be a platform that already known, mentioned by our previous speakers, or you will create something new?
I think it's the more feasible way of doing things. It will be the enhance the existing site of the Sakha Junior Science Academy by adding several new features, which will make a working site for the future games and may have some very interesting outputs and outcomes that will be start as a further development basis for the engagements and community building activities that we want to create with the young people who actually engage in our projects. And also we would like to make a linkage with the existing online platform that we already set up in Yakutia, which has already 14,000 members and growing every day in its numbers. So I think it will be much more feasible to do that as the part of the much wider and more prospective works that we do currently in our academy.
Thank you very much for your answer. So let's move to the next part of our roundtable, the discussion part. I have 3 questions for you, dear speakers. I will ask you to answer them or to provide your comment, your feedback. So the first question is, which components of STEAM events or programs that you organize past year you have successfully transferred to the online format and they even benefited from it? So, Alexander, could you share with us your point of view? Which components of your programs you successfully transferred to the online format?
Ksenia, sure, we have 2 Alexanders, and probably this is a question for me. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would thank you very much. This is a very important question. I would say we managed to transfer nearly all elements needed to do real events. As I said, the most difficult part was practical examination in chemistry, but finally we managed to find some true approaches. Not every task can be done because any task requiring sophisticated equipment is not possible, because all we mentioned, all we list as equipment and reagents should be available in different parts of the world. But still, I would like to stress that we are able to cover most part of all the events program. And I would say that online format is even better with regards to accessibility, because if we speak about entering exams or open competitions, students from different, even distant parts of the world can take part in it because they only need some true internet connection. They do not need to travel. So sometimes logistics is easier and cheaper.
Yes, I fully agree with you. And Roberto, what do you think? What components of your programs and activities benefited from transferring to online?
Yes, thank you. I think that the best part of the program was the ceremonies, because many people in normal time are traveling for the host city, but this implies a big cost of take a plane or a bus and pay for hotel and meals. And sometimes kids or families are not able to do that. But now we realize that not only the kids, the participants, the advisors, and the family are connected, but also friends, also teachers, and many other people that are interested to participate and to know more about the event. So the number of impacts that we had, for example, at the opening ceremony, was incredible. Normally at the opening ceremony, we must to rent an auditorium to host for 2,000 people, and it's very big. But now at the opening ceremony, we have more than 10,000 viewers by the social networks. So that's, for my point of view, the biggest successful for some parts of the event. But also the virtual tour was so amazing. It likes to many participants. But of course, we will never compare going to the desert and experience to see the stars and make an astronomical observation, for example, on live. But the virtual tour allows to all participants to know a little bit more about the host state, for example. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberto. And you know, even our round table now, people around the world can watch it now from different countries. We have greetings, we have feedback, messages, and I think in future it is reasonable to combine to these formats online and offline. So Hatem, please, could you provide us your point of view? What parts, what components of your programs and events benefited from transferring to online format? We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think the most successful part of iFest was like STEM Congress. This is the first part, and the second one when people have to select the top 10 and the top 3 by voting about the best project during iFest 2020. So this is it was really very successful, and we had a lot of good feedback about that, because it's the only opportunity that we can so we get the opportunity correctly because everybody can vote from his own home. So these two parts were really very, very important and very, very successful.
Thank you. Thank you, Hatem. And Dr. Vasily, please, could you provide your vision? You told us about your plans, but I know that in Yakutia, you also adopted many events and activities to the online format last year. So what is your point of view on this question?
Yes, it impacted very greatly on all our activities, the current pandemic situation. For example, the entire living quarters and all the sort of facilities that I have at the moment currently converted into some triage centers, you see, for the COVID patients. So that's why, you know, currently we only can work as in online form, sort of online format, and I have to say that it in fact greatly improved our coverage of the many events. For example, we've been carrying out every year a very big event, which is the science fair, Yakutian Science Fair. That's we've been doing for the last 25 years. And every year we usually bring together about more than 1,200 students to Yakutsk in the middle of a very cold winter in the beginning of January. And it's usually 1,000 projects. But this year we expanded more. We have 1,600 projects, everything online. And also we managed to bring kids into the loop from all the Arctic regions, which never had the possibility to take part because of the logistic that was very difficult to them to attempt to. So now that we, due to all these online elements that we have in the facilities, we managed to expand greatly, almost twice, all the number of participants and the projects, and also the quality of judging and also the quality of presentations. So the kids were extremely happy, the experts were happy, and we managed to also work out with our online registration systems and also also online judging systems as well. So everything, the work and everything was made much easier at the moment. So we believe that what we have been using now, it's actually made our work much easier, and in fact giving us more opportunity to
Oh. Thank you very much, Vasily. Really impressionable results, really impressionable. So let's move to the second question. My second question is, which components or which part of your STEAM events or programs you had to change in order to adapt to online format? Roberto, please, could you start? Oh, maybe Alexander?
Oh, sure, yes, with pleasure. And I would say we have a vast program at International Olympiads, which also include arbitration. Typically, science committee of the hosting country and the mentors of the participating teams, they do marking. And then both sides compare the marks, and everybody have to come to the final. Everybody has to come to the final decision, and it was a really tough part, because when you meet in one room and looking in the eyes of each other, it is very easy. Typically, it's easier to come to an agreement. When you do it online, remotely, it is a little bit more difficult from mental point of view. And we had to make a very sophisticated procedure. And I would honestly say that it took us twice longer to come to the final marks than usual. But we got some nice lessons, and if we do it in the same way remotely, next time we will do better.
Thank you, Alexander. Vasily, what will you say? Which parts of your program, which components you had to change, you have to adapt to the online format? What was changed?
For example, we were actually holding every year an international Olympiad on maths, for example, and some other different subjects, which is called the International Tuimad Olympiad. This year, we tried to do that on online format. The most difficult part of it was to bring together the experts, because if you're working in different time zones and so on, the people who are actually making judging work and so-called the moderations and so on, it is always difficult, because we have to bring together all these people, and it is much easier for them to work in much closer concert, so to say. Otherwise, it becomes a much frightfully difficult exercise to do all the easy work of judging compared to the in normal circumstances. So therefore, we have to change it in a way that we have to make more time for all this judging work and so on. So this is the thing that actually comes together with the online work, because online works actually requires much more time and preparation for that matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, may I add something?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I would say there was another very difficult part of the work. We had to convince some countries to participate. Some people were hesitating. They were not sure it will be a worthy competition or it will be a fair competition. But finally, we managed to explain that they should try. Otherwise, we will not be a success. So, and you see that 2/3 to 3/4 countries participated.
Thank you very much. Very useful this information, very useful analysis. And Roberto, what will you say? Which parts of your program you have to change? You had to adapt to the new reality.
Yes, thank you very much. So badly, we don't have the opportunity to show all the projects. Like the name of the event says, Expo Sciences is an expo for science and technology, and normally it's open for all the public during 2 days, and it is free. Everybody can go to visit. But now it was very difficult to show 500 projects. So what we made is just to take the videos to evaluate online for the jury, but we don't have the opportunity to show the expo like that. So the big challenge for this year is to create a virtual ambience so the public can go through the expo like normal. So that's the big challenge.
Yes, I agree, Roberto. With such a big number of participants and such a huge number of projects, it's not easy to make this big Expo Sciences online, but we already have seen some decisions in Poland, and now during the Taiwan International Science Fair, there are some possibilities to do it, and next year probably we will manage to use these solutions. So my final question, my third question is, what completely disappeared from your STEAM events when transferred to online? So, Alexander?
Okay, thank you very much, Ksenia. This is an absolutely important question. I would say only socializing. We didn't have a chance to see each other, to sit together and to ask questions, exchange views, just ask some questions about families and so on and so on. And this is absolutely important part, attracting many participants. I can say that it is true for all parts of our life. For instance, we have some good friends from our university years, and every year we visit each other to celebrate birthday parties. This year it was hardly possible because it was a lockdown, and we organized an online birthday party. Well, I would say this is better than nothing, but well, socializing parts especially important, and online technologies like now cannot provide it to 100% extent. But hopefully lockdown will be stopped and we'll be back to our normal life. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. And Vasily, what will you say? What completely disappeared from your activities after transferring to the online?
Yes, much of the experimental work that requires very much of the physical presence, etc., and which is very sad in a way, but because so far we haven't managed to bring anything that may somehow replace that, all these experiences of working with the actual stuff. So for the people who actually do the experimental stuff in physics and chemistry, I think is a much harder things to comprehend and to deal with. Yes.
Thank you, Vasily. And Roberto, what will you say? What parts of your program disappeared in the online format?
Well, it is not a real part of the program because we try to keep all the elements that integrate the complete version of the National Expo Sciences, including the tours. But what it disappears with no doubt, and it was very bad. It's because the programming and the preparation and running all the National Expo Sciences are done for 40 students of the University of UPAEP in Puebla, and they are volunteering. They are making social service or scholarship service, and they learn a lot of, and there is like a family because that kids are working in evaluation, in installations, in communication, in different commissions, working commissions. But now, as the university was closed, almost all our students are from all over Mexico. They came back to their homes and they cannot be able to be part of the organizing committee. And this was so bad. So for the first time in all of the Expo Sciences Mexico history, we work without volunteering students. So that's very bad. But this year, we will start to work with them from their homes. We will see how it works. Big challenge again.
Thank you very much, Roberto. So our discussion is coming to its end, and I think that today we all saw that in general our international STEAM programs had been quite successfully transferred to the online format. And we even benefited from it. For example, we have more participants, some things we could do easier in online format. But of course, we have some challenges, we have some difficulties. We still have some tasks to be solved in future. How to organize experimental part online, how to deal with difference in time zones, how to organize networking activities, and how to keep the attention of students, of children when they get tired of working with a computer. So I think we had a very interesting conversation, and we will continue it tomorrow. So please remain with us. Now today I would like to thank our speakers for their contribution, for sharing with us their experience and their vision. I think it was really useful for many people, many teachers and educators around the world. Thank you for this exciting discussion. And please remain with us tomorrow.